Let's start with your start. So how did you come to do music? How did all the things evolve in your life?
I can't remember a time when I didn't sing. They used to laugh at me. I would run around singing popular songs that I heard on the radio and like that. My grandmother gave me a guitar when I was 12 years old, a guitar that she had played when she was a child. And I started taking guitar lessons, and it was about the time that Elvis Presley started happening. In fact, his very first tour, and all of a sudden there was this giant new thing. Rock and roll had been on for a while, and I was familiar with that, but Elvis Presley seemed to add something much larger to it. And then what happened for me is my father was in the Air Force, and we moved. I'm an Air Force brat, so we moved around. And what helped me to make friends was the fact that I played guitar and sang. And so as I continued with that, I got involved with bands, and then found that I was earning extra money at school. And in fact, when I went to college, other than my basic expenses, which weren't very much because of being an Air Force brat, but all of my extra money, my spending money, I was earning by playing guitar and singing. And it was during the time that folk music had started to be popular. Peter, Paul and Mary, and Judy Collins, and Joan Baez, and Bob Dylan. And I found that it was possible to do these songs, you know, without necessarily a band. And these songs had sentiments that I felt more strongly than just love songs, although I love any pretty song and enjoy singing them. And it got to be I was spending more time at school playing guitar and singing for people than I was going to school. And so I made a decision in the middle of my junior year in college to leave school and either go see how far I could go with my music, if I could make a living and advance and be successful, or to get it out of my system so I could go back to school seriously. I went to Los Angeles and got a job initially as a draftsman for a civil engineer there, and then started singing every place that I could. And within a couple of weeks, I'd been hired and was making my living singing. I worked for about a year when I got the chance to audition for Chad Mitchell's place in the Mitchell Trio, and wound up getting that job, which took me from being just another folk singer on the West Coast to a part of a nationally known group that had a recording contract and was doing concerts all over the country. So that was a big step. And with that, I became, I think for the first time, really socially and politically aware through the songs, the satirical material the trio did, and through then meeting people like Peter, Paul and Mary and Tom Paxton and going to folk festivals and finding out how much this folk music comes from people's sense not only of themselves and their environment, but the situation in the world which they live. And so I was with the Mitchell Trio until we broke up in 1969, I think, 67, 68. 67, I guess, is when we broke up, and then started singing on my own again, and had some success with a song called Take Me Home Country Roads. That was a nice step, and then that gave me the opportunity to do television, and I was successful with that. And so it's been growing. You see, I'm still seeing how far I can go.
On the other hand, a lot of people over here would say that your kind of music is a bit like Mickey Mouse music, things like that. On the other hand, starting off in the folk scene, starting off with more or less political, topical songs. There's a difference between, let's say, a song, any song, which is a pure love song, and a song like Country Roads. Yeah, even Country Roads got more or less political things in it because of the dreams of going back, of security, things like that. But how can you cope with a saying of Mickey Mouse music?
Well, I don't agree with it, and the people, over 100 million people around the world who have bought my albums, don't agree with it, I don't think. And I think also they're not listening. You know, if what they're paying attention to perhaps is the songs which primarily have been the big hit records. But I think a song like Calypso is political. I think I'm Sorry is a political song. It had to do with addressing a situation where women for the first time were all of a sudden saying they weren't happy with this and are leaving. And so for the man to all of a sudden look and have the fact of his woman leaving force him to look that maybe there were times that I could have been more understanding and like that. I think that was a political song, and the sexual revolution. Also, these people have obviously not listened to songs like Prisoners on the Rocky Mountain High album, which was about prisoners of war in Vietnam. They've obviously not listened to songs like I Want to Live, or It's About Time, or The World Game, or the song I'm doing tonight, What Are We Making Weapons For? They've not heard these things in my song. So some people have a very narrow view of me and take me very lightly and for granted perhaps. And I don't think that they hear either this music or see the things that I have done around the music which substantiate it. And I don't think that I'm Mickey Mouse.
So I think it's only here in Germany or in Europe that people think of that, because in America you did things with Farm Aid and some benefit things.
I've been involved in things for a long, long time, and I don't do it. You know, it keeps, some of it's fairly low profile. The WinStar Foundation, of which I'm the founder, was instrumental in getting the Alaska Lands Bill set aside, which doubled the amount of wilderness in the United States. I was instrumental, along with my old friend Harry Chapin, in getting the Presidential Commission on World and Domestic Hunger formed under President Carter, which was the first time I think that the United States took a serious look at hunger in the world. And I served on that commission with Harry, with a lot of other people who are still friends. I'm one of the founders of the Hunger Project, which has over 4 million people now enrolled around the world committed to the end of hunger. And I think that all of those things were a part of creating the listening. Then when all of a sudden last year, that one film that was shown by the BBC about Ethiopia, all of a sudden an incredible response occurred. That didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of the fact of a whole lot of people, and I include myself in this, who had been speaking about hunger in the world and the possibility for its end for a long, long time. And then all of a sudden this one thing happened, and it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So these people have not, you know, and I find a better receptivity to me over in Europe from this point of view than I do in the United States. And certainly when I went to the Soviet Union last year, these were the questions they asked me. What about the Hunger Project? What about WinStar Foundation? What do you think can be done between the United States and the... I mean, there's lots of stuff there. This is a track I'm singing to. This is a song I wrote for the Challenger 7 astronauts. And it's a political song.
So what is it about? I don't think it's on the record yet, is it?
No, it's a brand new song. I was responsible for the civilian and space program getting started. Yeah. And until President Reagan announced a year and a half ago in his presidential campaign that he was going to send a teacher first, I thought that I was going to go first. And I thought that that was my flight last January. So I'm very involved with NASA, very supportive of what they're doing, both NASA and the European Space Agency. I think it's among the very best things that are going on in the world today. And so I have pledged my support to these organizations in whatever ways that I can. Anyway, I knew all of the astronauts on board the Challenger. I knew Krista. I was responsible for her being there. So I have a very strong feeling about that. And in the midst of my despair and sadness in the Challenger tragedy, I wrote a song. I've used it, it's on this new album. I just finished a new album called One World. And
when will it be out?
It'll be out in June, I think. And I wrote this song on that. I was able to use it as part of my testimony in the Senate on behalf of NASA. I was the host of a benefit for the Challenger astronauts and their families in Houston the Thursday before Easter, and I sang it there along with several other songs, but that was the one that I closed the program with. And it's been used, it got picked up when I used it to close my testimony in the Senate, and has been used all over the United States on television programs where there are good nights and like that. And we have film that goes with it also, that sort of, in a sense, covers the whole history of space flight, or manned space flight. So you'll see that tonight.
So you've been not on that flight. Will you be on the next flight?
I doubt that they'll send a civilian on the next one, but I think that civilians will go again, and I think that I have a very good opportunity of going, yes.
And you still want to go?
I would go tomorrow.
Oh. I would be afraid of going. I mean...
Well, I'm not afraid.
Good. Another thing is...
And you know, if I were to go on the shuttle, it would be an enormous opportunity to talk about many things in a positive way. There's no one else that I'm aware of who wants to go on the space shuttle. And this is, you know, like I said, I started the whole civilian space program, and I literally started it. And I'm one who's known all over the world. There is not a city in the world that I can walk through where I'm not recognized. I was in the largest slum in the world outside of Bombay, India last December, and walking through this slum, checking some projects that the Hunger Project was sponsoring. People say, "Hey, John Denver, St. Country Roads." So that's pretty amazing to me, and I think it's an incredible opportunity. I feel like I have a very large voice, actually. Not everybody who comes to Berlin is invited to do an interview like this, you see. So everywhere I go, there are opportunities to talk and to speak, and people know about me. So if I were to get the chance to go on the space shuttle, it would be an enormous opportunity to say many things, I think, to be heard by many people, and to demonstrate then, you know, my commitment to the things that I'm speaking about. And I hope that that opportunity comes up.
So could you say that the music you're doing now is more or less only a thing you do to help all the other projects you're doing?
Well, the reason I'm working so hard is to be able to pay for all these other projects that I'm doing. For instance, last year I did the first public concerts by an American artist in the Soviet Union in over 7 years. I went to the Soviet Union for the first time a year ago last December, and it was after many years of work and getting the thing set up. And then did that and was able to do these concerts, and in a small way, I think, by working with both countries and demonstrating the value of cultural exchange, I had to do with that a cultural exchange agreement getting reestablished between our countries. So I have over $400,000 invested in that. That's not any money that I'm ever going to get back selling records in the Soviet Union or anything like that. But that's what I've done. So I work to support this other habit that I have. And I also work because it's my experience that music truly is a universal language. And I think that people all over the world are the same. And to the degree that I can be out there and go out and sing, as I'm doing here in Europe now, I have the chance to do these interviews, and I have the chance to talk in the ways that I do about a brighter future that I think most people perceive, and some of the steps toward that future, investing in livingry as opposed to weaponry, recognizing that it's no longer a world of you or me, but a world of you and me, and that together we can put an end to hunger. Together, all of us working together, we can get rid of nuclear weapons in the world. Together, all of us, being conscious of it and working together, we can clean up the environment, and we can create a healthy and peaceful world for all people. Together, we can feed everyone. But it's going to take all of us together. And right now, the world is not all of us together. It's you or me, and it's me first, always. And it's my way is more important, my way is right, or blah, blah, blah ad nauseum. So we're at a very, very critical point, I think, in the history of life on this planet. And we have some choices to make. And hopefully they will be conscious choices. I think that there's an evolutionary step going on. I think it's an evolution of consciousness. It's just like, depending on how you're raised, when you grow up, you eat snacks, candy, drink too much, start smoking, whatever it is, then pretty soon this incredible body that we're given starts to falter because of some of the things that we have done to it. And so if we're going to be healthy, if we're going to be fit, and if we're going to be able to do the things when we are 50 and 60 years old that we did when we were 20 and 30, then we have to make some choices. We have to start making some conscious choices. You see? So it's that kind of choice. If we're going to survive on this planet, we're going to have to make some conscious choices. Peace, in my opinion, is a conscious choice.
Are you still doing your jogging trips in the morning?
Whenever I can. It's been difficult, especially this last week here in Germany. I ran in Frankfurt, which was about, what day is it, Sunday?
Today is Sunday.
Sunday. So I guess last Tuesday
Because I just remember
I ran.
2 years ago we had an interview.
Mhm.
It was at 9 in the morning. You just were coming back from your jogging trip
Yeah.
through the Tiergarten or something like that.
Yeah.
I found that incredible that 9 in the morning.
Well, I don't always get to do it at 9 in the morning, especially if we have dinner late at night. What I usually like to do is I come and do my sound check at 5 or 5:30, and then that's usually done by about 6:30, and then I have an hour to go run. And in the States, when I travel on tour, I have a rowing machine that I work out with. I can run about 5 miles and spend about 20 minutes on the rowing machine, and then clean up and vocalize, and then I'm ready to go sing. So I'm usually at my best in the States. It's easier to do than here in facilities like this. There's no dressing room here to do the sound check. Plus, it's a longer sound check. It's all kind of circumstances. But when I can, I do get all the exercise that I can.
If you had the chance of starting your life all over again, from a particular point on, would you take the same choice? Would you do it all over again as you did it with the singing?
Well, you see, that's not a very good question to me. I mean, it gives rise to thinking that it could be different than the way that it is. You could have done something differently.
Yeah.
And you do what you do, and you did what you did. The only choices you have are right now and have to do with the future. So, I mean, it's an impossible question, you know. And looking at where I am in the world and what has happened for me in my life, the experiences that I've had, the work that I've done, the good and the bad things, there are times I wish I would not have been so stupid, and times I wish I had not been so lazy. But I would not do anything different.
Okay, let's do it on another way. Did you ever dream of not being the star, not being John Denver everybody recognizes? One of the crowd who's not that famous, who can do whatever he wants without being known.
Well, there are occasions when it's like my son's birthday is this week, Friday, and I'm not going to be there for that, and I'd like to be there. I'd like to spend more time with my children anyway. I'd like to spend more time fishing. You know, I have a beautiful home in the Rocky Mountains, and I love being there. And there are times when I feel that I wish I could have more time there. But so far, with what has been given me, the opportunities that I have, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm spending my time.
Okay. Thank you very much for the interview.
You bet.